Welcome. My name is Laura Lochner. My pronouns are she, her, his. She, her, hers. Yeah, his as well. And for those who are online, I am a 50-ish white woman with graying and brown hair that's below my shoulder, and I'm wearing a red and, I guess, royal blue and black dress. Welcome to First Unitarian Church, where our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and pursue the common good. We welcome you in your brokenness and in your wholeness. No matter who you have been, who you are, or who you are becoming, we greet you today with love. I'd like to extend a special welcome to everyone who's watching us on YouTube this morning. During the prelude, please introduce yourself in the comments and let us know where you're joining from. If you're in OKC, what neighborhood are you in? Or if you're somewhere else, what city are you in? And now, the prelude prepares us for worship.
Good morning. My name is Tim Atkins, and I serve as your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm wearing a blue and orange paisley print shirt today. We light the chalice as a symbol of our sacred time together. The burning chalice represents the light of reason and science, the warmth of loving community, the cleansing heat of justice, and the flame of hope.
Again, welcome. I'm Reverend Diana Davies. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And for those in our community who are blind or have a visual impairment or are joining us online without video, I am a white woman with grayish hair, and today I am wearing my butterfly stole in celebration of transformation, and also in honor of our dear friend Ingrid, who is in hospice now in the stage of life that hospice care people call it preparing to become a butterfly. The people greeting you today are members of the Healthy Lifestyles group. This group meets the third Monday of the month to discuss the elements of a healthy life. They emphasize exploring positive and healthy ways of living, including stress reduction, preventing or coping with physical ailments, enjoyable exercise, better nutrition, and attention to spiritual and psychological health. For more information, please contact Janice Martin or Luann Faulkner Schneider. And where's Luann? There she is back there. We are having a little bit of a heating issue this morning, and I understand that it is actually warmer on that side, my left, your right, and so I cannot believe these words are about to come out of my mouth, but you may want to move to the right. You will never hear those words coming out of my mouth again. It looks left for me. On this Sunday, just days before what is or would have been the 51st anniversary of the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court ruling, we begin our service with these words from Unitarian Universalist minister, my colleague, Reverend Greta Jo Sadal. Everyone loves someone who had an abortion. And let's talk about the flip side. If you had an abortion, you are loved. If you've never told a soul, or if you share your story regularly, you are loved. If you are confident in your decision or wonder if it was the right choice, you are loved. If you are a queer, non-binary, trans, two-spirit, or a cis woman, you are loved. If you are child-free by choice or want to have kids eventually, you are loved. If your choice was driven by medical viability or your own emotional health, you are loved. If you found a provider to care for you or you had to rely on yourself, you are loved. If you were always pro-choice or if your choice conflicts with your beliefs, you are loved. If you love your body or are still angry at your body, you are loved. If you believe God loves you, or you believe in nothing divine at all, you are loved. You are loved. Please rise in body or in spirit. All of our music this morning is from the Teal Softbound hymnal. We'll sing number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul.
In the spirit of believing that we are loved, I call us to reflect on the words of this song, that there is indeed a river of love flowing in our soul, in our heart, and in our mind. And that is telling us that we are somebody. We're going to move to this song. Start with a snap. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. If you feel it in your soul, you can clap. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart. Can you hear it telling me
So our story today has a sound effect I will need your help with. When I raise this above my head, I need you to say, "Aw." Let's practice. Aw. All right. So Daisy happened to be very fluffy. And being fluffy was all anyone ever noticed about her. Aren't you the cutest thing? I could just eat you up. Adorable. They squeezed her. They petted her. They kissed her. Mwah. They popped out of nowhere and tried to hug her. Well, it ruffled Daisy's feathers. On the way only back home could Daisy relax. Daisy asked herself, why do I have to be soft? I'm not just fluff. I have substance. So something had to change. Daisy decided the time was right for a new look. So Daisy saw and jumped in a huge, big mud puddle, coating herself with mud from head to toe. It was spectacular, but it was also pretty icky and a bit sticky and super stinky. And then it started to rain, and by the end of the day, Daisy was right back to where she started. Daisy just couldn't take it anymore. I am more than fluff, she yelled. So her mom decided to have a talk with her. Daisy, honey, I know you're angry, but you just can't peck others. Daisy replied, but everyone cuddles me when I don't want them to. Mom suggested, have you tried telling them how you feel nicely? Daisy hatched a plan. Well, Madam Goose came by and honked, it's time for your afternoon cuddle. And Daisy replied, actually, it's time for you to give me some personal space. The goose stared, and Daisy continued, but I wouldn't mind a wing bump instead. Another animal came to give Daisy a hug, but she stopped it with, I don't want a hug, but thanks for offering. It's good to see you. And with a little practice, Daisy got the hang of letting everyone know what she wanted. She offered other suggestions like, I prefer if we didn't, but how about a high five? How about a low five? Tail bump, pinky shake, super secret handshake. Everyone learned to give Daisy some space when she needed it. And she did the same for them. Next time she saw a ladybug, Daisy said, aw, can I give you a hug? And the ladybug replied, nope, no hug, don't want a hug. And Daisy smiled and said, I understand. Daisy just happened to be fluffy, and that suited her just fine. So I wanted to share that story with you today because that is a book from the newly revised kindergarten through second grade Our Whole Lives curriculum that we teach here at First Unitarian. And it's an important book because sometimes kids don't have the words to describe why they don't want to get a hug someday. And so that is one of the boundaries that we talk about in our OWL program, which you're going to hear more about later today. But first, it is time to sing our children and youth and teachers off to their religious education classrooms today. Today, our kindergarten through second grade are learning about the beauty of the dark. Our second through fourth graders are doing some yoga. Danny will be happy to hear that. Our fifth through seventh graders are talking about what classes and jobs exist in their D&D world. And our high schoolers are talking about Christianity today. So please join me in singing Go Now in Peace.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Liz Pillar-Little, and I I use she, her pronouns, and I am a short white woman with graying brown hair wearing a very cozy green sweater. I am one of the members of the Committee on Ministry. The function of the Committee on Ministry is to monitor on a regular and continuing basis the effectiveness of the church's ministry, acknowledging and praising areas of strength and assessing the reasons behind areas of perceived weakness or dissatisfaction, so that we, as a congregation, can grow into our full potential and fulfill our mission. If you have any questions about the role of this committee or have concerns, praise, or ideas about the ministries of this church, you are welcome to reach out to a member of the Committee on Ministry, which includes myself, Lori Jervis, Tom Perriam, or Derek Wagner. Every Sunday we take an offering. Since 2002, all the cash and designated checks from that offering have gone directly to external nonprofit organizations doing good work, our Change for Change partners. For the month of January, our Change for Change partner is Not Your Average Joe. Not Your Average Joe is a nonprofit coffee house. Their mission is to inspire the community by including students and adults with intellectual, developmental, and physical disabilities in the creation of exceptional coffee and an encouraging atmosphere. For those of you who are in the sanctuary with us today, in just a moment we'll be passing the offering plate. We know many of you prefer to mail in a check or make your donations to Change for Change online. You can always make your gift by mailing a check to First Unitarian, just write Change for Change on the memo line, or make an online payment through our website, oneuc.org.
It's that time of year when our congregation's leaders must begin working on next year's budget, which means it's also the time when we need to begin asking you to think about what you will be able to pledge. In this congregation, we do not ask you to pledge a tenth of your income or even any specific minimum amount. We only ask that you pledge at a level that reflects, as you can, what this congregation means to you. Over the next few weeks, we'll be hearing from members telling us what this congregation means to them. And we'll begin today hearing about the importance of the Our Whole Lives program. For those of you who've only recently begun attending First Unitarian, you might not be familiar with Our Whole Lives, or OWL, as we've been offering it every other year and will do so again next year. In a nutshell, OWL is a holistic, age-appropriate sexuality education program that's rooted in Unitarian Universalist tradition and values. The OWL program aims to help young people to understand that they are accepted and loved as they are for who they are, to feel good about their bodies, to gain the tools to be able to clarify their own values, and to seek justice for themselves and for others. Here to speak about the OWL program is Terry Ward, and Terry will also be sharing some words written by Mordecai Horn-Petrie.
Good morning. I'd like to share these words from Mordecai, who can't be with us today. My name is Mordecai, him and they, and I am a lifetime Unitarian Universalist. Being a UU has provided me with many moments of adventure and solidified my experiences as a seeker. I believe that youth of all ages deserve to have a safe space to be with their peers outside of judgment and shame. The Our Whole Lives program strives to cultivate a community space for youth to explore many questions in which the answers are sometimes life-saving. I personally was a part of the OWL program as a youth and found friendships and community grounding that gave me building blocks for the future. I learned not only how to take care of my body, but how to take care of my mind. As a facilitator, I went through a difficult training with other facilitators to make sure I understood how to use contemporary language around 2SLGBTQIA+, identity, allyship, bullying, concepts of consent or abuse, recognizing healthy boundaries, and overall healthy life skills. I think that the OWL program gives youth tools that they will be able to use at all stages of their life. Thank you, Mordecai. And these are my own words. I'm the oldest of 5 children, and I grew up in the 50s and 60s. On a bus ride to school one day, when I was in the 7th grade, one of the older boys asked me if I was a virgin. "Of course not," I said, and they howled. And then I sputtered, "But my mother is, of course, because she's had 5 kids. My friend in the seat next to me said, did I knew what the word virgin meant? Well, not exactly, but I reasoned that if Virgin Mary had had a baby and my mother had had 5, that must mean a virgin is someone who's had a baby. I don't think you could find a 7th grader alive today who would be that confused. But boy, are they exposed to a lot, and often in ways that are not age appropriate or how we would want. That's why the OWL program is so important, even life-saving, with its messages that affirm and inform various stages of life. I think Unitarian churches do 2 things especially well: memorial services and sexuality programs. OWL gives children and youth accurate information, space to ask questions, and a community of learners on a similar journey. What a gift. For many years, I coordinated OWL classes here. Last year, Tim asked me to teach the 4th through 6th grade OWL class. Spending time with children, helping them have some of the information they will need as they navigate adolescence, and normalizing asking questions and being a part of an OWL team, leader team, turned out to be a gift to me.
It's nice. Okay, this is a body blessing written by UU minister Reverend Lisa Bovey Kemper. I invite you to touch your hand to your forehead if it feels natural. May you be blessed with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. May your intellect take you far on your journey. You have been blessed with reason and free will. It is your call every day to use these gifts. I invite you to touch your throat. May you be blessed with voice. May you learn the complex nature of truth-telling. The ability to speak the truth in love is something that requires honesty, empathy, and care. You are challenged every day to seek that joy that comes with sharing your truth compassionately, as well as listening to others. May your heart be full and blessed with love. May you know the agony of heartbreak as it is intertwined with the elation of true love. Your heart is a strong and resilient organ, one that will be with you until the end of your time on earth. May you heed the wisdom of your heart and always trust the truth it tells. You can't see as well, but on your abdomen, you are blessed with the gift of sexuality. May you always remember that you are a beloved child of God. Your body is sacred and belongs to you alone. May you live into the full expression of your identity as a human being, embracing your true sexual and gender identity. The gift of sexuality brings with it many rewards as well as great responsibility. May you always retain power over your own being, striving toward mutually fulfilling and just relationship. When you were a baby, your tiny hands were your first contact with the world. Before you could see more than a few feet in front of your face, you grasped the fingers of your loved ones. You catch yourself with your hands when you fall, and you express love and comfort to others with them too. May your hands be gentle and strong. May you use them to carry light into the darkness and rest to the weary. May your hands always find the place of greatest need, beginning with your own. And may the Creator of all things hold you in the palm of her hand, wherever you go. May you be blessed on your journey. May you remember that growth happens on the journey and that you are never alone. May you always remember that you are a whole person, that each of these parts work together. We offer our blessings upon you, body, mind, and spirit. May you be guided by compassion and truth, justice and love. May you find rest on the journey, always remembering where you came from, being mindful that your ancestors stand behind you, whether we are present on earth or have gone back to the soul of the world. May you be blessed in all things and carry blessings with you wherever you go.
At this time, I will invite you to join me in a ritual created by Reverend Julia Hamilton. This ritual celebrates the many stories that we bring into this sacred place. The unspoken stories that we hold quietly in our hearts. The stories that we can't tell without our hearts breaking open. The stories that may feel like they belong to someone in the distant past, some previous version of ourselves. This ritual of stories may bring up difficult feelings, and I invite you to take care of yourself, first and foremost, mentally, emotionally, and please remember that I am here to talk after the service if anything comes up that you need to discuss right away. Now, oh, yeah. That would be a test right there. So as I light a series of candles for the different paths we have taken, if you recognize yourself in one of these prayers, and only if you feel comfortable, I invite you to place a hand over your heart. And whether you are here or whether you are joining us online now or at another time, and know wherever you are that you are not alone, that there are others with their hands over their heart at the same time. So I light the first candle. The first candle is for those whose story includes the choice to end a pregnancy. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but each and every end is also a beginning. And so I light this candle for all who have aborted a pregnancy or partnered someone in an abortion for whatever reason, under whatever circumstances. And I invite you, at the end of each candle lighting, to respond with the words that are printed in your order of service. May our stories be held in love and acceptance. I light the second candle for those whose story includes the unwanted loss of a pregnancy or a struggle with fertility. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but the pain of infertility, miscarriage, and stillbirth are too often held in silence. And so I light this second candle for all who have traveled this path of loss for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance. May our stories be held in love and acceptance. I light the third candle for those whose story includes the choice to give birth. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but the choice to bring a new life into the world is a powerful one. And so I light this third candle for all those who have given birth or partnered in the birth of a child, or those who have adopted a child birthed by someone else for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance. May our stories be held in love and acceptance. I light a fourth candle for those whose story includes the choice not to conceive or have children. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but the freedom to chart the course of our own reproductive life is sacred. I light the candle for all who have made the decision not to conceive or bear children for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance. May our stories be held in love and acceptance. I light the fifth candle for those whose story includes a forced choice or no choice at all, or who have encountered violence where there should have been tenderness and love. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but not everyone has been in the position to control their own reproductive choices. I light this candle for all who have found themselves unable to exercise their own sacred reproductive freedom for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance. May our stories be held in love and acceptance. I light the sixth and final candle for those whose reproductive story is still being written. The circumstances vary, the timelines of our lives are diverse, but the future unfolds in surprising and unexpected ways that can be both beautiful and heartbreaking. And so I light this candle for all who are at a threshold, who have agency and choices still to make about their reproductive lives, for whatever reason, under whatever circumstance. May our stories be held in love and acceptance. May the flames of these candles and the many stories they represent remind us of the fire of commitment we carry inside to ensure that all people have freedom and agency over their own bodies and their own reproductive choices, and that reproductive justice is upheld as a fundamental right for this and future generations. As we remain seated to sing our next hymn, I invite you, as you are comfortable, only as the Spirit moves you, to come forward, if you would like, to light a candle next to whichever one of these flames most speaks to you. There are candles here in the front. They are new, so you'll need to lift up the wick before you go to light it. And as we do that, we'll sing hymn 1002, Comfort Me, and we'll just keep singing the verses until everyone who would like has had an opportunity to light a candle.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul.
This poem is by Nicole Seeley, and it's called Medical History. I've been pregnant. I've had sex with a man who's had sex with men. I can't sleep. My mother has. My mother's mother had asthma. My father had a stroke. My father's mother has had high blood pressure. Both grandfathers died from diabetes. I drink. I don't smoke. Xanax for flying. Propranolol for anxiety. My eyes are bad. I'm spooked by the wind. Cousin Lily died from an aneurysm. Aunt Hilda, a heart attack. Uncle Ken, wise as he was hit by a car as if to disprove whatever theory toward which I write. And I understand the stars in the sky are already dead. I wonder sometimes why my credit history can follow me wherever I go, but I seem to need to retell my medical history every time I go to a new doctor. It feels sometimes like my financial self is somehow more real and permanent than my physical self. And I worry that part of the problem is that I don't always tell my medical history the same way every time. Because frankly, I can't remember, sounds so bad, but I can't remember from one year to the next which grandfather died of a stroke and which one died of heart disease. And I can't remember how old my grandmother was when she was diagnosed with cancer or what kind of cancer it was. I do my best to try to remember, and I'm pretty sure I get it wrong all the time. Well, they say that the cells in our skin and guts and our liver completely regenerate every few years, so why not our medical histories? I've been thinking about medical histories or the stories of our bodies a fair amount lately, in part because my mom was just recently diagnosed with diffuse Lewy body dementia. And oddly enough, one of the most significant aspects of this illness, according to the internet, is that it was what Robin Williams had. And I'm not sure what to do with that information. The other thing I've learned is that those who suffer from it often experience hallucinations. Older people already experience a kind of invisibility in our culture. Add a diagnosis that includes the possibility for hallucination, and I wonder who will ever listen to their stories? Who will believe them? At what point is the story of our own bodies no longer ours to tell? Of course, for as long as there have been medical histories, as long as there has been the formal field of medicine, some people have had the right to tell the story of their own bodies more than other people. Here in the United States, Enslaved women never had the right to direct the story of their own bodies because their bodies were considered to be property. Up until the first half of the 19th century, a white woman, on the other hand, had no legal restrictions on contraception or early abortion, so long as she hadn't reported that she'd felt the fetus moving inside her, what they called quickening. It wasn't until the 1820s that even a free woman's own experience didn't matter anymore. That was when male obstetricians and gynecologists began calling for state legislatures to stop midwives and others from helping women to, quote, restore their menses or control their own fertility. After that, things happened quickly, and by the end of the century, abortion was illegal in every state in the country. And the Comstock Law ensured that women could not access contraceptives through the U.S. mail. Women had no legal control over their bodies, and the stories of their bodies weren't theirs to tell, as everything ranging from mental illness to infertility to respiratory problems were described as hysteria. By the early 20th century, politicians and physicians continued their efforts to control marginalized bodies, including promoting the forced sterilization of Native Americans, women of color, and poor and disabled women. Even into the 1960s and 70s, while African American, Puerto Rican, Native American, and Mexican immigrant women were targets of mass sterilization programs, middle-class white women were often unable to get their doctors to tie their tubes. As Loretta Ross and Ricky Solinger write in their book, Reproductive Justice, quote, a white woman typically could not be sterilized unless her reproductive output satisfied a formula devised by the medical profession. Her age, multiplied by the number of children she had already given birth to, which had to equal the number 120 or greater. When Roe versus Wade was decided back in 1973, many people thought that was it. The battle was won. But it was never won. The battle tactics may have changed, but it never ended. And marginalized bodies, women's bodies, black bodies, disabled bodies, indigenous bodies, trans and intersex bodies, they never stopped being the site of battle. But that's the important thing to remember about this particular war, this very, very protracted assault. In this case, the battlefield, the body, has the ability to battle back. In the spring of 1969, a group of women, mostly in their 20s and their 30s, met in Boston to share their frustrating experiences with the medical system. They wanted to create a list of physicians who respected them and listened to their stories. They quickly realized that that list was exceedingly short. So the women began to compile a book which they called Our Bodies, Ourselves, which they sold first for 75 cents a copy, and then with support were able to get the cost down to 30 cents a copy. And as the title implied, the book was about women taking control of their own bodies. Later editions of the book represented more diverse identities: lesbians and bisexual women, women with disabilities, older women, women of color, and transgender and genderqueer people. In 2014, based on the model of Our Bodies, Ourselves, a group of transgender folks published Trans Bodies, Trans Selves. And that book included an afterword by the original Boston Women's Group, which included this statement, quote, "We, a group of cisgender women, now know that we can no longer say a woman's body and mean only one thing. The revolutionary point is that we can name our gender identity for ourselves and rightfully expect respect and recognition. Our bodies, ourselves, grows in meaning daily," unquote. What both these initiatives show is the foundational importance of learning to love ourselves, even before we can effectively fight for ourselves. And after loving ourselves comes caring for others. Today, in this bleak time, there are groups like INeedAN.com, which was started by one person after their own abortion experience in Texas. As they describe it on the website, quote, "I did what people who build things often do. I started building what I wish I'd had, a simple website that aggregated all the things that helped me. I wanted something simple that spoke to me as a peer. I wanted something that filtered all of the information down to just what I needed, from clinics to abortion funds to laws to stories from people like me," unquote. Now, the team at INeedAN.com includes professional writers and designers and developers, data analysts, clinic escorts, practical support volunteers, trained abortion doulas, abortion funders, and former providers. It's people helping other people. Trans Lifeline is a peer support group offering radical community care by trans people for trans people. It started out as a service specifically for people in crisis, but now they also offer resources for legal name changes, healthcare information, and help with coming out. They offer microgrants to cover the cost associated with court-ordered name changes. They are all about community, autonomy, and self-determination. When your body is a battlefield, it can be hard to remember that it is first a body, a beautiful, feeling, ecstatic, painful, generative, emerging, messy body with its own story to tell, with its own history that is more than a list of pathologies as defined by someone else. It offers more than a medical history. It tells a multifaceted story that deserves to be heard, that deserves to be believed. You are more than your past pregnancies or the lack of them. You are more than who you've had sex with. You are more than the legacy of your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and your uncles. You are more than the medications that you take. You are more than your phobias. You are more than is written in your chart. You are all that is written on your heart. You are the story that only you can tell. You are someone who matters to someone else. You are a star that hasn't yet died because you are right here and you are still shining. Would you please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn, This is another one to move to, my dears. It's number 1024, When the Spirit Says Do.
You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do. Oh Lord, you got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance, oh Lord. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 We're going to take you back to do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 Spirit says do.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of love and community which burns on in our hearts.
We're expecting some bad weather later today, and so the Voice Delegates Assembly and Leadership Training has been canceled for this afternoon. Please keep an eye on our newsletter and emails for when that event will be rescheduled. And for now, I leave you with this blessing. Keep your heart in the fight, dear ones. Keep your heart in the love. Keep your heart in. And in the words of poet Andrea Gibson, don't be afraid to let your heart break so that your spirit does not. Blessings on you all. Amen.